Hi everyone, Mike White here. Welcome to this week's blog post. Part of being a mortgage professional is adaptation. Part of being a mortgage professional is looking for solutions for people who have issues or challenges. Part of what we do in our professional capacity is really look out for and facilitate what is a very complex time in people's lives and make it smoother. And I think right now those tools, those abilities really come into play. And I think as mortgage professionals, the fact that we're used to adapting to different challenges and changes in our industry, as well as volatility and outside forces, clearly those skills come at a very opportune time. It's really an important asset for us now to take care of our family and our friends, our co-workers, neighbors, people in our professionals' lives, our clients and referral partners. It's really important that we realize you have a skill set that you might not fully understand or fully accept as being very valuable. We're right now given all the different stresses in the system, from just normal day-to-day life and then lay on top of it coronavirus and all the different gyrations of the markets right now between volume, liquidity, margin calls, rate fluctuations, all those other things. Every day we've got to look at this business and approach it and see how we can help. And so with that in mind, here are the 5 things that I've been spending time talking to my clients with and helping guide them through, because it is an opportunity. We're here and we can see and we can use the tools that we've already built into our systems, our processes, our procedures to really be of benefit to those around us. So the first thing that I'm sharing with people is the old adage, you have to take care of yourself first. Just like on the airplane when they say, should there be a lack of cabin pressure and the mask fall from the overhead, put your mask on first before helping others. Well, that translates into our business right now is you've got to make sure your family, your friends, your neighbors, coworkers are all safe and sound. It's your primary responsibility to put that house in order first, because that is the most important thing. And sometimes we forget that taking care of ourselves is the last thing on our list instead of the first thing on our list. So number 1 is making sure you're taking care of yourself, and then your family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, and then your clients and referral partners come into the mix. But there is time, there is the ability, and we can certainly take steps that do all of those things. And many of the things that we have shared lead to that. The second piece of that puzzle becomes keeping yourself informed through official channels, and be certain not to get yourself involved in a political discussion or only view things through a political vein, regardless of where you are. It really doesn't matter. You don't want to take the risk of alienating anybody in this time. Right now, what's happening in the market really shouldn't be a political event. And I know people will go out of their way to lean in that vein. Stepping above that right now is critically important, because where we are right now doesn't have a political preference. Okay, what's going on in our industry and what's going on in our country, what's going on locally, is really not a political situation, and we've got to stay away from that, because if you take a side, you stand to alienate 60 or 70% of your market, and that doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't need to be. So keep the political piece out of it, but make sure you're looking at official government channels, number 1, for general information, make sure you're looking from a statewide and a local municipality standpoint as to what the rules are governing, the circumstances. And certainly you really have to pay attention to what's going on within your company, because even within the mortgage industry, even within certain companies, the rules are not necessarily the same from place to place, product to product, program to program, and certainly loan size, all the different things that are going on. You really need to focus into bringing it into your market, and how that filters through not only the government agencies, but your local municipalities, your state requirements, as well as your company filters. Because not all companies are structured the same way. They all don't price the same way. They don't all have the same investors or conduits or requirements. And they certainly don't all have the same compensation. So clearly you've got to be bulletproof on what your real information is. And again, now would be a really great time, while many of us are working from home and realize we can't be out on the streets or making that personal contact, to really nail down your frequently asked questions, your product and program tutorials, building out your YouTube channel, and even talking within your communities to the people who are providing services and are available. Because getting out there with video coupons and doing some Facebook Live events, really letting people know that you are still open for business. There are people all over the country accepting loan applications, putting together purchases and refinances, closing loans. And I'm amazed at some of the adaptations certain markets have made to make that possible. I've got some people who are doing closings in parking lots where people are sitting in their cars and completing the transaction. It's amazing at the adaptability that people are employing to overcome the process. And since whether people think it's real or not, the mortgage profession has been deemed essential to the economy. And so, you've got to know that these things are still happening and they can happen. The third thing I want to bring up is to make sure that you're spending the same amount of time or more in your prospecting vein, and that some of that prospecting time really comes down to calling, not emailing, not texting, but picking up the phone and calling your database and your referral partners, not from a mortgage capacity, but from a relationship capacity, just to see how they're doing. Get clear on their specific challenges and needs, understand their fears, and be empathetic to the situation. Whether you agree with their fear or their position is not important. Sometimes what's important is you making the outreach and listening, because you're in a position to provide some very useful assistance just because you are making calls and talking to a variety of people. It's amazing. My wife has a friend who is elderly. She has a cat. She ran out of cat food. She's not allowed to go out and shop. She was very upset because she wasn't getting the cat food, and she wanted my wife to come grab the cat and take it to a shelter, which is, for an 80-year-old person, kind of ridiculous thing to have to live through, given all the other challenges. And my wife found a pet store that was open, that carried that cat's food. My wife was able to secure 100 cans of that cat food and get it to that woman, and even identify the place that the store itself would have delivered the cat food if they only had known somebody was in need. So who are the small businesses, product and service providers in your marketplace who are available to help? Imagine if you built an entire catalog of, hey, I found this restaurant, I found this dry cleaner, I found this lawn service, I found this plumber, I found this electrician, I found whatever. We all still have basic needs. Some people are working, some people are ingenious in solving those issues. Who do you know who could be of help to help solve an issue for someone else? And that's part of just making those contacts and those connections. The reality of it is, we talk about the referral triangle, putting yourself in the center. The fourth thing specifically is connecting with your realtor partners and sharing solid connection strategies. Why aren't your realtors doing the same thing as you are? Making phone calls to their database, letting them know that they're still around, checking to see what they're doing. And more importantly, they may not be able to list their house now or sell their house now or want to open it to an open house or even put it on the market, but they're thinking about doing that after, this is over. Well, there are things that they could be doing in that. They could be painting, they could be repairing, they could be fixing. And I'm sure there is a local paint store, hardware store, vendor of some sort that's in your area that will deliver or that is open or who will help, because those things could be done so that when they feel comfortable, they're ready to list that house and get on the market. And again, I've got realtors and loan officers, instead of doing traditional open houses, they're doing Facebook Live open houses. So they're letting people know during the week that this house is going to be on a virtual open house, and then they do a Facebook Live, and the agent physically goes to the house and does takes the Facebook Live and shoots a video of the outside of the house, explains each room, gives them a tour. Again, it keeps the process moving forward. It keeps you connected to your realtor to their database, and all of you to the general public, because how much can you download off of Netflix and all that other stuff? So you'd be amazed at what people can do and will do. And I have loan officers who will tell you they're doing record-breaking business right now, that they're still doing contracts, they're still putting deals together, both on the purchase and the refinance side. So pay attention to what's happening and realize that business is still moving. And if you can't personally interact face-to-face, you can do it over the phone, you can use Skype, you can use Zoom, you can do these other things so that when people are ready to get face-to-face, that business will already be in your pipeline. Because I want you ready to roll, not thinking about how to catch up, but to convert the opportunities that are already in front of you when your market does come back, and it will be sooner rather than later. And last but not least, to those of you who think that all of these other things are done and you can't do anymore and you're still bored out of your mind, wouldn't it be a great time to do your continuing education and get it the heck out of the way? Because in my opinion, this will be over. There will be a return to the home buying and refinance opportunities that we had before. In fact, some of the pent-up demand may carry well through the end of the year. And if it does, especially with a presidential election and all that other stuff happening, do you really want to be wrapped up in taking time out of your day in October, November, or December doing your continuing ed when you can knock it out now? So maybe managers, loan officers, look, maybe put together that continuing ed piece. Maybe you'll have a trainer in your area who will do your continuing ed. If you don't want to do it online, do it through Zoom or one of those other things. Maybe you do it an hour at a time or do it online and get it the heck out of the way so that you don't have to worry about it. Now, I've shared a lot of different strategies with you here and things that you could be doing. One of the things I forgot to mention is for those of you who work with a lot of self-employed people, hey, thank God you were running a bank route. Those small banks out there right now, those relationships you made with those managers, how many of those people do small business loans that your clients are going to need right now? You see the value in having run that small bank route? Guaranteed, if you had 20 or 30 small banks on your route, you've got 2 or 3 or 4 of them where you've built some relationships, and some of them do SBA loans. What a resource you could be to not only your clients and your community, but to that bank manager or that loan officer who does SBA in your area. So think about this and understand there is a wealth of opportunities. And for those of you who are worried about what you can do and how to make your market situation work, understand we're here to help. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. For those of you who are managers or have companies, I'm doing video conferences with people. We're setting those things up to go through issues, work through challenges, set up processes. That's what I'm here for. Again, I can adapt my business to help you adapt your business. And as always, It's just a simple email, mike@imtcoaching.com. And until next week, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors and your fellow employees and your community. And again, we're here if you need us. Failure is not an option at this particular point in time. This is going to pass. I just want you ready so when the floodgates reopen, you hit the ground running. Take care.